Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 18 Halloween Dollar Tree DIYs for you from the Crafty Vault. And even though it's Halloween, all of these are going to have a little bit of a coastal spin. I hope you enjoy today's video.
Now there's a big trend right now of thrifting beach scenes and painting ghosts on them and creepy Halloween things. So I wanted to see if we could do it, but do it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use a Dollar Tree beach canvas. I don't really need the hanger on the back, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop that off. I can reuse that later. And it is almost the right size to go in one of these square Dollar Tree frames. And we're going to modify that a little later, but that's going to be the back of our sign. Now for the ghost and the bat, I want to do a bat too. I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. I think they're kind of small, but for a small canvas like this, I think they're going to be the perfect size. So they have two of the little sheet ghosts that are so popular with this trend. And they are different sizes, but I can just have one be a little closer than the other one, and I think that will work. I also wanted to do a little bat flying in the sky, and the bats on this rub-on transfers were a little bit big. I thought about just painting them on, but I decided to just use the smallest one and just do one. So if you haven't used these rub-on transfers before, they are so easy. All you have to do is peel off the back and stick them to the canvas and scrape them on. Now, since it is a canvas, it doesn't have a back, so I thought I needed a solid surface to scrape on. So I just took a couple pieces of Dollar Tree craft wood and put behind it. I thought that would make it a little bit easier. So just peel and stick our first little ghost here on the beach. And then I'm just using the little cricket scraper from the Dollar Tree to scrape it on. Make sure it's down before you pull it up because you can always lay it back down and finish scraping it on. So I'm going to do the second ghost a little farther away. Maybe that can explain why he's a little bit smaller. And scraped him on as well. So cute. I'm going to do the same thing with a little bat flying in the sky. And if you aren't able to find a beach scene at the Dollar Tree, they do have some creepier kind of beach scenes right now. I got one there today at Dollar Tree. It's so easy to create a beach scene, and we're going to be doing that a couple times today with kind of a more abstract beach scene. But look how beautiful that looks. That painting from the Dollar Tree is textured with the waves and stuff too, which makes it look a little bit more high-end. Now, the hanger that came on the sign, not a fan of, so I'm going to replace it. I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine, feed it in from the back, tie knots on the front. Now, I am going to do an additional frame on this, so it will cover this up anyway, so I wanted to go ahead and get that step done now. Now, to attach the canvas to the picture frame, I'm just going to hot glue it on. I think that's going to be fine. So I just leave it on its existing board, makes the DIY even easier. And we are just going to put hot glue here on all four sides. And then just lay it in that frame. There is a little gap on each side, so I just try to center it in there the best that I can. Now for the frame, to fill in that gap and to make it look extra beachy and coastal, I'm going to use some driftwood.
The driftwood that I'm going to use is this Target brand vase filler. Unfortunately, the last time I was in Target, it looks like they may have discontinued this one, but I love it because it was very uniform and flat, but probably basically wherever you can find some driftwood, including, I guess, the beach. But the great thing about this is that it's clean, it's ready to go to craft with, and I love using it for DIYs.
Now, the frame is not real big, and I'm going to try to cover up, all the gap and build a frame. So I want it to be irregular and everything like that, but I also need to kind of make it fit. So I don't want a huge overlap. So it's kind of like just putting together a puzzle. You kind of have to, work until you find the perfect piece. And if you can't find one small enough like that, I just use my miter scissors to cut one of them down. But Otherwise, I think I was able to do the rest of it without cutting anything. Now, some of them were a little too skinny to cover the gap, but then they had these real skinny pieces that you could also go in and cover it up. And I'm so glad I did this for the frame. It makes it look so good, and it really makes it look intentional. And I really love this DIY. I might have to go to the thrift store and actually find like an ocean, like a large ocean painting to paint ghosts and stuff on, because I love that. I think it's so funny. So I just keep going around all four sides, just piecing together different pieces until a pattern that I think kind of looks good. Again, it's supposed to look kind of crazy because it's driftwood, of course. And the only thing I don't like about this driftwood is that it is a little bit light in color. And sometimes that works for me, but sometimes I want it to look a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to show you how I change the color of mine, but I wanted to go ahead and get everything built first. I just kind of add a few more pieces just to kind of level out some areas and fill up anything that needs a gap. And then just use my heat gun to try to clean up any excess hot glue. And it's looking super cute already, right? Now, I don't want to stain it too dark. I just want to stain it like a little bit. And so to do that, I am going to mix together some Antique Wax by Waverly and water. So mostly water. And then I'm just using my little chunky brush from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do a light stain. And since this is so watered down, you really don't have to worry about getting it on the painting. You can just wipe it right off. It's not going to discolor it or mess anything up. But I just wanted a very soft stain. So after that, I just kind of dry it off with a paper towel. And we have our little ghost and bat at the beach in a driftwood frame. Everything was from Dollar Tree, and I think it turned out so cute. What do you guys think about this? This is how it turned out. The little bat is super cute. He has a little face too, flying in the sky above the ocean. And then we have our two little ghosts. And I like that you can kind of see through them a little bit, like a real ghost, because you can kind of see the ocean behind them.
And I absolutely love how that DIY turned out. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and use the new hype feature to hype this video up. I'd really appreciate it.
Okay, the next DIY, we are going to take this vase from the Dollar Tree. These are plastic. They have them, I think, in white and black. And I picked up a white one. I thought we could turn it upside down and make an ocean creature version of a ghost. Now, the bottom of it is flat. So I thought if I took one of these little foam balls from the Dollar Tree and cut it in half, I could give it more of a dome shape on the top for the creature that I want to make. So that's what I did. I hot glued that on. Now, the only thing was, I don't know if it's because the ball was small, I thought it was a little bit pointier than I needed. So I actually redid that. But in the end, I think it turned out probably exactly the same. So you could use the styrofoam ball. Now, this is the like ivory version of the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree again. And it's kind of a long piece. It's a little hard to try to find where it starts and stops. But what I wanted to do was make a ghost octopus out of this. So to do that, I'm going to use all of the creepy cloth, like making it go over it several times. That's when I was like, you know what? I don't really like the little foam ball right on top. I wanted to see if I could do something a little bit better. You could always just have it a little bit flatter on top. That would work too if you don't have anything. I had some white model magic from the Dollar Tree though, so I decided to kind of make a little dome piece on there to kind of fill it out just by putting that right on the top, taking off the excess model magic until I kind of have a dome shape on the top of the head. And this works. This is what I end up using, but again, I think it probably looks pretty similar to the foam ball. I just shape it to kind of make it go with the vase because you want to use the white vase underneath because you can definitely see through it. If you have the black one, you'd probably have to paint it white. But I noticed my white Model Magic was not the same color white as the vase, so I did go ahead and paint it white too, so that you can't see like the difference in color there. And I did paint that Model Magic while it was still kind of, soft like that, and it will still harden up over time. Now let's make our little ghost octopus. I go ahead and string one layer over the top. Then I find the other end and fold it in half and drape that over. So we've got 3 layers, and it makes this nice ghost material like this. I make sure that the vase is kind of in the center. I'm not going to make a base or anything. I'm just going to have the vase be upside down. And then I take some twine and tie off the head of our ghost like that with some Dollar Tree twine. Now I take it and I pull out the tentacles of our octopus. I guess it kind of looks like a squid too. But I wanted to make sure that I had 8 tentacles there for an octopus. Then I realized that my twine was really not tight, wasn't really cinched up where it needed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that up a little bit tighter here. And then we can decorate our little ghost octopus. This turned out so cute, and it's nice and large. You could always hang it up too, but I think it would look more like a traditional ghost if you hung it up. But if you sit it on a shelf or a counter, you can make the tentacles go out in all directions. Now our little ghost needs a face. I'm just going to do some eyes. So I'm going to use some black felt from Dollar Tree, and I just used a little chalk marker so I could draw on the black. And I just sketch out 2 ovals because cutting ovals and circles is not quite that easy. I need me a little guidance. And then I just cut inside the little chalk lines there to cut 2 ovals for little ghost eyes. I'm not going to give it a mouth or anything like that. I think 2 eyes is going to be plenty. And then I'm just going to attach it to the little octopus face, right there. And I'm just going to hot glue those in place. I'm going to leave the twine wrapped around the neck of it to keep that all in place. And I think that goes nice with the design as well. And then I just kind of pull out all the tentacles, and let me show you how I style this little guy. He's so fun. So I make sure I have 8 strands coming down here, and I want to do 4 on each side. I kind of overlap the ones that are kind of on top of the other ones and kind of alternate that pattern around. And that's how he turned out. I'm just going to display him sitting like that. Again, you could always hang it. I wanted to show you how it looked on my table in my entryway. I think it's so cute. You're definitely getting that ghost vibe, but you're also getting a little bit of octopus in there as well, which I think is really fun, and it's going to go great with my coastal decor. So here he is, our little ghost octopus.
We're going to use one of these Dollar Tree skeletons. Doesn't really matter what color it is because we're actually going to be painting him. Now he does have a little tab here so you can make him a hanging skeleton, but we're actually going to have him be a sitting skeleton in this DIY. And I thought it would look really fun and coastal to make him blue instead of this bone color. I also want him to be able to sit. I'm going to have him actually sitting in a plant. And so I'm going to go ahead and just pop his legs off. And I'm actually going to show you how to make one of these Dollar Tree skeletons into a jointed skeleton. But first, it's time to paint it. I'm going to do a nice beachy blue. I think I mixed Caribbean blue and ivory together. It gave me this really soft blue, really similar to probably the Cloudless by Apple Barrel color. And just using a brush, I'm going to go all over and paint the skeleton. I like to paint the Dollar Tree skeletons, even if I paint them bone colors. I just don't like the way they look a lot of times. They just look kind of cheap. And so I go ahead and paint the back of him, and I painted both legs. We're going to flip him over and paint him again. Now you could do this DIY for a house plant or something like that if you had that around the house. I actually picked up a cheap plant from Target, a fake plant that I'm going to do mine with, but I really love how it turned out. Once I get him painted, this is the plant that I picked up. These are normally like $5 at Target. Sometimes you can get them on clearance though. This is just a boxwood. Doesn't really matter what it is. It is a little bit plain in that white pot, so I'm going to give it some Halloween fun by using some of the Dollar Tree's ribbon. This is one of my favorite Halloween patterns, I think, the bat pattern. Really cute, and the theme I was kind of going with when I put this video together was a blue, white, and black theme, which I really like for Halloween because you guys know I love using blue for just about any season. I just cut out a piece of the ribbon large enough and attach it to the pot with hot glue. It's going to be very temporary. I can always remove that when I go to reuse this plant for another occasion. And I've used these little plants a lot for tier trays and all different kinds of things. It's kind of a medium-sized pot, I would say. But again, you could always use whatever you have around your house, or you could even use a real house plant. Now I'm going to have the skeleton like sitting inside the plant is my plan. So I just went ahead and put him there in the back. I'm going to attach him with a dot of hot glue just to make sure that he doesn't fall out. And kind of have his arms draping like that through the plant. Now I had popped his legs off earlier because I knew I wanted him sitting and I thought I would just be able to put him back together. So the top half looks pretty good. I like how he's looking so far. So now it's time to work on the legs. They're not jointed. So what I'm going to do is just pop mine apart, remove the tags, and then we'll just have to put them back together. So I reattach his leg bones. They're the top parts of his legs to his hip bones like that, just by snapping them back on with plastic, right? And now I just have to figure out like the knees. So this is how I ended up doing it. I just kind of stood it up how I would want it to be. Attach it with a little bit of hot glue. Now you can see like the hole there in the top of the bone. I'll show you how I kind of disguise that to make it look a little bit better. But I just want to make sure that it's sitting properly. And I put a little bit of hot glue inside that hole as well. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side, just hot gluing that in place. And then to mask the holes, because that doesn't really look very good, I'm just going to use some masking tape. So I just tear off a piece of masking tape and work that around. It's just going to give it a more finished appearance. And you can always paint masking tape. It's pretty thin. It's going to kind of blend in with whatever you're working on. And so I just take that same color paint that we used for the skeleton and paint over the masking tape, and he's going to have two little skeleton knees. Definitely made him posable. And I really love how he turned out. He was really easy to do. I guess you could do this in just about any color if you wanted to do a colored one. If you didn't, it would look really good if you did like a bone color, I think, as well, like an ivory. But let me show you how this cute little skeleton turned out. I think he looks really stylish in the blue. Looks like something that you would probably buy at Target, right? And pastels for Halloween can be really fun. I did a Halloween party video on YouTube here where I did all pastels for Halloween, and it was really fun. Even the tombstones and everything. This is how he turned out. I think he is really cute, and he is definitely one of my favorite Halloween DIYs.
I picked up two of these little coffin signs from the Dollar Tree. One kind of has a border and one doesn't. And we're going to put them together and make like a 3D coffin that's going to kind of stand up on its own. So the first thing I have to do is just cut out whatever's in the middle. Mine had jack-o'-lanterns, and this wood from the Dollar Tree is pretty thin. So if you cut it enough times with like a razor blade, you can get that to pop out, give you a little bit of a custom cut. You might end up with a little bit of a wavy line, but you can always touch that up a little bit. I sanded mine down as well to make it look a little bit better. And then I don't really need the hole in the front of it either, so I fill that in with a little bit of spackle. Now I want my coffin to be blue, so I'm using Caribbean blue, acrylic, and a makeup sponge just to paint that blue. And I want to have like a really cool like mummy inside of a coffin feel, but I want to go with that black and white and blue color scheme as well. So for the back of the coffin, I'm going to use this piece. It's a little bit more solid than the other piece, but you could probably get it to work if you had even the same piece. Because basically, we're just going to cover the back of it with black. I thought black fabric would be cool, and so I picked up some black fabric from Dollar Tree to kind of cover the back of it. I just used a white chalk pen and pencil. I actually got that at Dollar Tree too, to sketch that out on the black fabric so I can cut that down to size. Now, there is writing on the back of the sign, so once I Mod Podge this down, you can still kind of see that design through it. I was hoping that it would cover it. Maybe if you were to use like black poster board or cardstock or something like that, you might get a little bit better coverage than the fabric, but I kind of thought the fabric would be fun in the bottom of the coffin. See how you can still kind of see the writing through there because of course it's got the cutouts. So I decide to use some black poster board to kind of fix that. So I just sketched that out. And you can see I was cutting out some mermaid witches for a tier tray with that. And I just glued that on the back of it to give me a more black surface. And that seemed to help a little bit. Then I'm just going to seal it on with more Mod Podge over the top because I kind of like that feel better than the fabric because I don't want you to be able to read through it. I want it to look like, you know, solid wood. Now, to make the little mummies, we're going to use popsicle sticks. These are the super jumbo ones that I got at Walmart. But you could always do this with Dollar Tree ones too. You're probably just going to need a little bit more popsicle sticks. And I just start cutting them out, going a little bit larger each time to try to make like a mummy body, like laying in the little coffin, and then kind of shrink it up and arch it for the head. I also wanted to have like little arms, like crisscrossed here. And so I do that with little popsicle sticks as well. Just cutting everything with scissors, sanding them if necessary. And then it's just a matter of painting these and kind of putting this all together. Whenever I paint like thin wood products like this, popsicle sticks, Dollar Tree wood, I love using a makeup sponge for this. It works so well. You don't use very much paint and you don't get very much on the sides and back and stuff like that. So I think that looks pretty good. We can then start putting our little guy together. I wanted this to be a little 3D in nature because I'm going to put the coffin together like that. So I'm going to use some of those little wood cubes from the Dollar Tree to make all the little pieces of the mummy stick up. And I just hot glue those onto the back of our little popsicle sticks, painted ivory, and then glue those to it, leaving like some spaces behind it. For the eyes, I decided to make a little gap like that where I could go in and cut down some more of that Dollar Tree black poster board to be behind it that we could actually add some eyes to. I just do that with a white paint pen, just putting a couple of dots on there and then using a glue stick to kind of glue that back under them so the little mummy eyes are peeking out. I found that hot glue worked a little bit better for that. And then we're going to continue that mummy design by hot gluing the little cubes to the back of the popsicle sticks, kind of alternating my gaps, like which direction they're going. I wanted it to appear like a wrapped mummy. And I think the popsicle sticks give you a great illusion of that. I'm going to repeat that all the way down here to the little feet here of our mummy. And then we just have the little crisscross arms that we cut down to kind of go across the body, and I just hot glue those directly on. Now we need to find sides for our little coffin because I want it to be all 3D and kind of stand on its own. For the sides, I thought the easiest thing that I had from the Dollar Tree that would work would be the little Dollar Tree wood rulers. So they come in a 2-pack. It's just a matter of cutting those down to size. I'm going to do it with like the little bump out part like inside. So the sides kind of have like a flat appearance. So I cut those 2 rulers down for each side there. And these are so easy to craft with because all you have to do is take the stickers off. I just took them over to my saw to cut those down. But you could probably do the same thing with popsicle sticks. but it's probably not going to be quite as thick and sturdy as mine turned out. So I got the rulers cut down for all the different pieces. Now it's just a matter of painting those. I want them to kind of blend in with the Caribbean blue that we did on the top part of the coffin. And so I just go ahead and paint all of those on the sides that are going to be pointing out. The corners are going to be a little rough on these because I didn't like do any mitering or anything like that, but I think we can make it work. So I'm going to start with the bottom by hot gluing that onto our back coffin piece, the top and the bottom. And then you can just attach the top like that. I think that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the rest of the sides on by hot gluing those to the edges, kind of lining them up as tight as I can in the corners. Now I'm going to kind of just sit the top part of it on that little ledge of the rulers. That works out perfectly and provides a great base for that. So I just do a bead of hot glue all along that part of each one of the rulers. So I can sit the little top of the coffin around the edges, sign right there. And I love the colors on this. I think it's so cute. I love the mummy theme, and I just touch it up with a little bit more paint because part of the ruler was exposed there. And as you can see, my corners aren't great, but I think it works pretty good for crafting. Here it is, our little mummy, ready for decorating. I'm going to stand it up straight upright on my cabinet for display. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so cute with the little eyes peeking out from behind. And I definitely love this color scheme.
Now for the next set of Halloween DIYs, we're going to switch it up a little bit and do a tier tray with a coastal Halloween theme. So think like merwitches and things like that. Such a fun theme for Halloween.
We're going to start with some of this great mesh ribbon from Dollar Tree. In the ivory color, it really reminds me of fishnet. And so we're going to use that to kind of decorate my tier tray to kind of give that fishnet vibe. Now I'm decorating my 3-tier tray, my galvanized metal one from Target. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap that all the way around my tier. I like to decorate them with ribbon and stuff like that. I really think it can kind of add to a theme. And I just do that with a little bit of hot glue, cutting them down to size. And we're going to do that on all 3 tiers. And it's going to give us a nice start for like a beach theme with that coastal vibe of the fishnet. So this is what it looks like so far. And this is a big one. So we have lots of decorating to do for this tier tray. Now, the first item we're going to do is a little witch's broom here. These come in a 3-pack at Dollar Tree. They have a little bow on them, but super easy to take off. They're just like a little bread tie. And we're going to do a really fun little DIY with this. My tier tray has a hole in the top where it used to have a hook, which kind of got in the way. So I kind of took that hook off my tier tray, but it has a hole in it. So I thought it would be perfect. We could have this little broom going right through that hole, and then we could have a little witch flying on it. So I trimmed it down to size a little bit. And then to cut down the witch, I wanted it to be a witch mermaid. And so I'm going to have to kind of custom make this. And I'm going to do that with using my Cricut and a little bit of the black poster board from Dollar Tree. And I have this great like merwitch file. I will try to figure out a way to share that with you in the comments below. But what I did was just put that black poster board on my Cricut cutting mat. And we're going to cut out that little merwitch, 2 of them like that. And then we can kind of sandwich that one on each side of the little broomstick, and it'll look like the little merwitch is riding on the broomstick. It even kind of looks like she's sitting because she's got like a hand back, right? And then the little broom can go just like this. And then we can actually have that kind of flying across the air on the top of the tier tray. I'm going to go ahead and attach the top part with just a glue stick. Go ahead and put my little broomstick in the top of my tier tray so it looks like she's flying. And then put some more glue on the bottom. kind of sandwiching her around that where she will stand up just like that. And this is a really fun theme since we're mixing beach together with Halloween. Now I'm going to display it here on my kitchen table. And I had a black and white buffalo check runner that I had got at Target Dollar Spot as well. And the first DIY we're going to do is very simple. We're going to take a $3 Dollar Spot ghost mug from Dollar Spot and a little succulent from Dollar Tree. And we're going to make this little ghost mug into a simple planter just by adding the plant in there. But it is going to need a little something to help it out. So I'm going to cut down some Dollar Tree foam and just stick the little succulent plant down inside. And we have a really cute little ghost mug. Since this is going on my kitchen table, I want to do a lot of mugs and stuff like that. They kind of go with the kitchen feel. So we're going to put that right there next to our little merwitch flying. The next item is a little black cat that I got at Dollar Tree. This was pretty cool. I don't think it was necessarily Halloween because they had them in different colors, but I thought the black one really looked like Halloween, but I wanted to look like he's kind of caught up in a fishing net. And so I'm going to use some of that like ivory creepy cloth and just kind of put that around his neck, kind of like this little black cat got caught up in some fishing net. And we're going to put the little black cat right up here, super cute and just the right size. Now, the next item we're going to DIY is one of these little skull candle holders from Dollar Tree. They're kind of like a white unfinished ceramic with like little kind of goldish spiders on there, but we're going to give ours a little beach makeover. I am using Caribbean blue, and we are going over the whole thing. I'm trying to remember if this is Caribbean blue. Yes, I think it's definitely Caribbean blue. And I just go over the entire thing, trying to make sure I get in the teeth in any of the areas under where the candle is going to be as well. Then I'm going to go in with a black paint pen and we're going to paint those spiders back on, but this time in black because I want to do like a blue, black, and white theme on this one. Definitely bringing in the blue color for the beach vibes, but I think black and white looks really good with that. I can only get so far with the paint pen and I really thought I needed some acrylic paint. So I did go back in with some acrylic paint to paint the body of the spiders and kind of fill them in a little bit. And now I just need to find a candle to put in here. I'm actually going to do one of these little tea light candles from Dollar Tree, a real candle, just popping that right in the top. But it's going to be on my tier tray, so I'm probably not going to be able to burn it. But I think a real candle always looks a little bit better than the battery operated ones if you can see it like that. And that is going to finish off the top part of the tier tray with a little skull candle. And I was worried that you couldn't really see it, so I'm going to pop it up a little bit with a Dollar Tree wood stem so you can see him a little bit better. And then I thought a little coastal touch, why not a little starfish to go with the beach Halloween theme? That's just a starfish from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. Okay, next up, I found this great mummy mug at Target for $5. These are back like in their kitchen section. And we're going to make this a flower arrangement as well, using one of these beautiful blue succulent picks from Dollar Tree. Again, I kind of need something to put it in. So I'm going to cut down some floral foam from Dollar Tree first and another really simple little flower arrangement for the tier tray. And again, we've got that coffee cup theme going. And I love these Halloween mugs. They are so cute. I love to decorate with them. So here's the little mummy mug, $5 from Target with a little Dollar Tree succulent inside. And then I thought we'd put down some creepy cloth to kind of make it look creepy, kind of like the fishing net vibe, fill in that area on the second tier tray. And here is our little mummy mug. He's a really nice size. He takes up a pretty good amount of area, but he's not too tall. Now I also got this Witch's Brew mug for $3 at the Target Dollar Spot. It's a little black cauldron, so it's got the black and white theme going for it. I think it's really cute. I thought we could fill it up to make it look like an ocean potion. So I'm going to take some paper towels. You can use anything to kind of fill up the volume of it. And then I'm using some of these little blue and white wood beads from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to fill that up, kind of make it look like bubbles, bubbling out of the top of the cauldron like a potion. I really only want the soft blue and the white ones because that's going to go with my color scheme today. So I'm kind of picking those colors out and filling it up as full as I can get it. And that's our little witch's brew cauldron full of bubbles. We're going to put that one right over here. I told you I was going to go heavy with the coffee mugs on this one. And I absolutely love the Halloween coffee mugs at Target. They're my favorite. So just kind of turning some of the beads so you can't really see the holes in them as much, but it's kind of impossible since they do have holes in them, but just kind of arranging it until I'm happy with it. Now, the next item for the tier tray is a Dollar Tree ceramic ghost. These are the ones that light up with the little cutout eyes. This one was missing the little light up candle, but that's okay. I still bought it because it's absolutely adorable. Now, I wanted to give it a little bit of a coastal touch, so I thought we could use some of this Dollar Tree blue ribbon and give this little ghost blue eyes to kind of go with our theme. So I just cut it down to size so that I can just put it inside. And I'm going to do a little hot glue on the inside of his eyes and then stick the ribbon through there and glue that to the back so it looks like our little ghost has blue eyes. A little easier said than done, but I was able to get it in there. And since it doesn't light up, this is another fun thing that you can do with this little ghost. So I'm going to pop all the fabric in there. I kind of used a lighter. I needed something long and skinny to kind of press it in there. And then we're going to do the same thing here on the other eye. I'm putting hot glue along the inside of the eye to kind of catch the ribbon and smoothing that out inside. And I finally got it in there. There's our little ghost with blue eyes looking super beachy. And then I thought one of these little starfish from Amazon on his head would be so cute. So I glued a little blue one on there. And I always have those little starfish linked in my Amazon shop in the description below this video. And there's our little Dollar Tree ghost, all dressed up for a day at the beach. Now this is a big tier tray, so we have lots of items. I wanted to do a large sign. So I'm going to use one of these little wood signs from Dollar Tree. Don't really need the hanger on it, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And we're going to make a custom little beach Halloween sign out of this. Now it does have a word on there, the little galvanized metal home, but with a little heat, you can just pop that off. And it's going to give you a nice long sign that is going to be a really good size for a tier tray. So I'm just using some heat to try to get some of that glue off. And we're using the color Cloudless and going over this side. You know, I think I might have used Cloudless on that school. I was trying to decide earlier if it was Cloudless or Caribbean Blue, but it probably was Cloudless. I love that color. It's my favorite. I have that linked in my Amazon shop as well. You can get it so cheap off Amazon and they send it to you for free. You don't even have to go to Walmart. And then we're going to use one of these cute little wood ghosts from Dollar Tree. And we're going to do a custom little ghost at the beach sign. Don't really need a hole in the top of this ornament. So I'm just going to go in and fill that in with a little bit of spackle. And then I'm going to paint our little ghost ivory with some ivory acrylic and a makeup sponge until I get a good coverage. I really want that white ghost to kind of pop against that blue sign. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to use Dollar Tree letters to do a saying on here. So I picked out BOO for Boo for our ghost. And we're going to paint those black, again with a makeup sponge. I love using a makeup sponge to paint these small items from the Dollar Tree. It just works so much better. And we have the word boo that we can add to that. That's going to go with our blue, white, and black theme. That looks great. And then I don't want it to just say boo. I want it to be kind of more of a custom sign. So we're going to add some more to that as well. But it's going to say boo right here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and glue our little ghost on and glue our boo letters on. I love these wood letters at the Dollar Tree. They can be a little hit or miss to find. I always try to stock up on them though, so I always have them in stock. Now for the next line, I'm just going to freehand with my Sharpie and put from the in like a skinny font, and then start spelling out the word beach. And you could do this with your Cricut. I decided just to freehand mine. I'm just doing some like block letters for the beach. So I can go in and fill those in with a black paint pen, make that stand out, be a little bit more bold like our boo word. And that's just because I didn't really have any lettering that small. To fill it out, an exclamation point will finish it off, and we have a boo from the beach. I think this is perfect for our beach Halloween theme. And I just glued a wood block to the bottom to give it a little bit more height so you can see it and read it. And we're going to sit it right here, finishing off the second tier of our beach Halloween tier tray. Up next, I'm going to use one of these little metal signs from the Dollar Tree and one of the wood fish from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. This is kind of the big flat fish. I noticed the chunkier ones are probably easier to find, but I really liked this one because it was skinny. I thought we could make a really fun Halloween design out of this. And I know you're like, a fish, that's not very Halloween, but I'm going to show you how we're going to make this guy Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the body of him black just by using a makeup sponge and acrylic paint, leaving his head and his tail white so that I can go back and paint them blue. It's going to be easier to do that cloudless cover over color over white than black. So that's why I kind of avoided that area. Then using a black paint pen, just drawing back on our little fish eye. Now it's starting to look a little bit like Halloween, but I thought we could make it even creepier. So we're going to take some Dollar Tree white rope. This is like the skinnier white rope. And you know, you could do this with some of the macrame cord they have now. That might work, but I needed a thinner white rope from the Dollar Tree. And so that's why I just unwound the larger rope into 3 individual pieces. This piece is going to be the backbone of our little skeleton fish. See, I told you we were going to make this a Halloween decoration. So I kind of glue that where I think his skeleton would be. And then I'm going to continue with that unwound piece and cut out little rib pieces here or fish bones and glue those kind of leaning back, veering back towards the tail, just hot gluing one piece on at a time. And then we're going to do the same thing here on the bottom, just a third of the rope, cutting those down to size and attaching with hot glue, kind of meeting up in the middle, kind of slanting those back. And you can't work with the rope too much because you don't want it to unwind. So I try to cut it once, glue it down, and kind of let it be. Now to stand it up, I thought one of these little metal signs from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. I just put hot glue on the metal sign and glue our fish on there, making sure I let that good and dry so that metal will be strong. And we have a little skeleton fish decoration for the tier tray. It's the blue, white, and black. It's nice and creepy for Halloween because it's a little skeleton fish. And I think it's going to be just the right size to start decorating the bottom of the tier tray. Now I want like a coastal theme. So I had a little palm frond from the Target dollar spot. And I thought we would put a couple of those down here to kind of fill in that middle space before we start decorating with our little skeleton fish. I love those little stands. I use those for decorating all of the time. Okay, the next DIY for this tier tray, we're going to use one of these little slatted wood signs from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to do a custom little beach spider sign. So again, we're going to use my favorite color, cloudless blue. And we are going to paint this little palette sign, that blue color, all over the back of the sign. And then we are going to flip it over and paint this side too. The reason I did the front and the back is because this is on my kitchen table, so you're going to be able to see the back. So I really wanted to have the back of my piece finished as well. Then we're going to make spider webs. Now I'm using the twine from like the hardware section at Dollar Tree, but again, you can use the macrame cord for this. But this actually might work better because it is a little bit skinnier. And I'm just hot gluing it to the edges, kind of in a random pattern so we can spin a web for a spider. And I just keep working until it's pretty full. I'm gonna do another one going this direction, making sure they all overlap in the same spot there in the middle. And then once I have all like my anchor pieces, I can go in and start working on the middle piece. I just continue that one piece of twine. And when I glue it on, I kind of give it that arched feel, like is shape of a spider web. And it can be random. They're not supposed to be perfect. Most spider webs aren't. And go all the way around. And then we're going to do the same thing another time for the second round to finish out the spider web. And then we're going to put a little spider in our little beach web. And I'm going to use some of the little fuzzy spiders from Walmart just because they're the right size. They were cheap too, $1.98, and no glitter on them. I didn't really want any glitter on this one. And so I just hot glued a little black fuzzy spider right there to our web. And then I want this to be a standing sign because it's going to be on my tier tray. So to get it to stand up, I'm taking a Jenga block from Five Below and gluing that onto the back of our palette sign. But I probably should have waited for my little spider to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and glue him back on too. And this was so easy to do. Our little spider web looks very coastal with that blue palette board behind it. And we were at the beach the other day at Gumbo Limbo. I was visiting my son at college, and we went on a boardwalk trail down to the Intercoastal, and I've never seen so many spiders in my whole life. It was crazy. We even saw a spider eating a crab. Okay, the next item is a Halloween tree from Dollar Tree. It's really cool because it's like black and ivory, so the colors are perfect. And then we can just make it beachy with some starfish and beachy items. So I have these little tiny starfish that I get on Amazon. Again, I always have those linked under like the beach supplies in my Amazon shop. And we're going to glue some of the little ivory ones as little ornaments on the tree just by doing a dot of hot glue on the bottle brush tree. And a little Halloween tree is always a little fun idea. I like when they bring these out for other seasons. And then I thought maybe some of these little seashells. These are the little tiny seashells that you get in the glass bottles at Dollar Tree. And we're going to glue those onto our little Halloween tree like ornaments as well. Just trying to get a good variety of those and kind of randomly scattering those out like ornaments. I decided probably needed another starfish. And I kind of decorated the black part because that's really going to stand out the most. And we're going to put that down here on the tier tray. It's a perfect size here next to our pompron and our little spider web. The next DIY, I thought we would do something fun with mermaids again. So we're going to do another sign. This is just a wood sign from the Dollar Tree, like a plaque. I like these because they're nice and chunky and they have a finished edge, kind of a decorative edge. And we're going to use that cloudless acrylic color again and go all over, painting the edges as well. And we're going to do a really fun little mermaid sign to kind of go with that merwitch theme that we started at the top of the tier tray. So to do that, we're going to use the little mermaid tail from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree and a Wicked Witch wood sign from the Dollar Tree as well. Combine them together and we'll have another merwitch decor. And I'm always looking for a use for those little wood mermaid tails from the Dollar Tree. I absolutely love them. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the hole with a little spackle on the tail because we're not going to need that in there. And we're going to combine these together to decorate that little wooden sign. I always like to give a little texture to my mermaid tails though, so I just go over all of the scales with a hot glue gun, just drawing all of the scales on there. That's going to give us a really nice textured little mermaid tail. I also do it here with like the little longer lines on the tail fin, I guess, and let that set up and you're going to get just a great texture. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint Wicked. We're going to do it just in black acrylic all over, again using a makeup sponge, and that's really going to pop against that blue sign. I love those colors together. Now I went ahead and popped this in the fridge just so it would set up faster. And then I'm going to paint it with the sponge as well, kind of pushing that in, trying to get all the areas underneath all that great texture that we added to the mermaid tail. And you can see that hot glue technique just really works so well. Now for the wicked part, we're going to put it right about here. And I kind of wanted the tail kind of like it's coming out of the water kind of. So it's also coming out of the top of the sign. I went to my tier tray to make sure that it would fit and it's not going to be too tall because this is the time to make that decision. Otherwise, it's not going to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this on the perfect height. And then we have plenty of room for a wicked right underneath. And I'm just going to hot glue that on as well. And we have a cute little merwitch sign, perfect for this decorating scheme. Now, with the mermaid texture, it kind of looks kind of brown as is. So I thought we could make that pop a little bit with a little bit of white, using a white paint pen and just kind of tracing those all out to make those scales really pop. You could also do that with like a sponge or something, but you're going to get a little bit more on your tail. So the paint pen does give you a little bit more precise. And then I thought, you know, it needs a few shells. So I do one of those little starfish and the little seashells from my stash. And I think that looks really cute. Maybe room for one more. And I really want to stay with my blue, white, and black theme. And so I do use a white paint pen to make my starfish just a little bit brighter. And then I want this to be a standing sign for my tier tray. So again, I'm using a 5 Below Jenga block and just hot gluing that to the base of my sign. And we have a custom little merwitch sign. Super fun for a beach Halloween theme. And it is just the right size to go right about here. And I love how this looks against that black and white buffalo check runner on my table. It goes really great together. Now the next DIY, I found this ceramic skeleton with like roses on it from Dollar Tree, but it was pink. And so I thought we could make it our custom color scheme. So I just use a tiny brush. We're going to go in and paint all the pink roses black to make them look creepy for Halloween. And then we'll also add a little blue in there as well to keep with our blue, white, and black theme. So this one had a pink base, so we're just going to switch it up to cloudless and make it that beachy blue. And the pink was a little hard to cover, so I did have to go over it with a couple coats so you couldn't see the pink through it anymore. And then I thought we could decorate the base of it with a little bit more of that ivory creepy cloth. I think it looks kind of fun and coastal. I just glued that on there, kind of like it is just gathered up, and we could give it some more beachy touches as well with some of these little miniature seashells from Dollar Tree. We're going to kind of scatter those out in the netting and of course the starfish as well. And it looks creepy and cool. It looks way more coastal than it did when it was pink. And I love the black roses on it. I think that looks really cool. It's a nice tall piece, so it can go right here on the bottom tier in front of that palm frond in the back. And then for a filler, I'm going to use Dollar Tree sand dollars and starfish to fill out the bottom tier.
Now, let me give you a quick look around of how this tier tray turned out. So fun. I used this on my dining room table with that like black and white checkered table runner that I believe I got at Dollar General. But it's a really fun theme and so many fun ideas that not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily use these for a tier tray. You can use them for any kind of decor, but I always love a good seasonal tier tray. They're a great way to decorate an area of your home that doesn't have like a lot of shelves or areas to decorate. And so I always love doing lots of Halloween tier trays for sure. The only thing I would really think that you would have trouble finding is that fish. That is from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. But everything else is some pretty general stuff from the Dollar Tree that we just kind of customized. And they have lots of seasonal coffee mugs as well. Now it's time for the final reveal. Please let me know which DIY was your favorite down in the comments below, or just come say hello. I always love reading all of your comments. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook at Crafty Beach on YouTube, and I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And this is also my QR code if you would like to buy me a coffee. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's crafting video. That helps my YouTube channel so much. And I also want to give a huge thank you to all of my YouTube members. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Donna Tanner, Kim Rogers, Powell Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Mindy Hupp, Jenny, and Debbie Austin. I really appreciate all of you so much. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit join on your phone or computer next to this video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube, a badge next to your name when you comment down below, and a shout out in every video. We would also love to see what you've been crafting. Be sure to share your DIYs with us in our private Facebook group, always linked in the description of the video, as well as chapters, links, and other necessary things. So, if you would like even more crafting inspiration, I've got you covered. You can check out one of these Halloween DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Halloween.